Welcome back to Cryptos Are Us. I am George. We're all George. So happy Friday. I think it's Friday. And we have more tariff war escalation. That's right. Every day we have more. But you know what? Bitcoin is unfazed. Bitcoin is still holding strong. And not just Bitcoin. We have some good crypto news to talk about today as well. But of course, we got to talk about the escalation and everything else that's going on in the world. So let's get to it and have a good Q&A session as well. All right, let's do it. Welcome, guys. We are starting out the day. Not bad at all for Bitcoin. Right back to 82,000. Again, we're holding strong around that 82,000 mark. Low 80s, which is good. Despite everything else that's going on, this is actually a pretty good spot to be in. Obviously, we had a little volatility over the last week, down into the 70s, right? Even yesterday, we fell back down to like 78, 79. But now we're back to $82,000. That is a very good spot right now. And the U.S. market is deep in the red once again. Not deep, just slightly in the red. Okay. Still a lot of worries, obviously, every single day. A lot of worries about the economy, about the world economy, not just the U.S., and of course about the escalation with the tariffs and, you know, when is it all going to end? Where is this all leading? Okay, we don't know. I mean, the latest is, of course, is with China. China has raised their tariff to match basically the U.S. The U.S. raised China's tariff to 145% today, which basically it's at this point it's, you know, it's the damage has been done. Basically, if you're importing from China, you better figure something out. Okay, either get your manufacturing done in another country, or you're working it out with the manufacturer that you're working with, or something, because it's getting crazy. And China rose, made their tariff against U.S. goods to 125%. And, you know, at this point, I don't know if there's any point of raising these percentages higher. You know, if we're going from like 145 to 175 or 125 to 175, is it going to make that much of a difference? The point has been made that either side, including China, is backing down, right? So where is this going to lead? Don't know. And a lot of people are starting to speculate. Well, what about the American companies that are very, very, very dependent on China? So this is, you know, the one thing about this is a lot of people think, well, this is just a tariff on China and Chinese goods and Chinese companies, but that's just simply not true. Like, for example, Apple. A lot of people start speculating. How much would it cost to make an iPhone in the US? If we brought Apple and their manufacturing back completely in the US, okay, like everything back to the US, how much would an iPhone cost? Well, roughly, according to one analyst, the iPhone would jump from about $1,200 to $1,200 to $1,500 right now to over $3,500. So pretty much triple. Okay, that's like best case scenario. And it would require Apple to spend $30 billion over the next 3 years, which is 10 billion a year. It is a lot, but for Apple, that's actually not quite a lot. I mean, they make a lot more than that every quarter, but going forward with all the tariffs, probably not nearly as much as before. But anyways, they would have to spend 30 billion over the next 3 years to move only 10% of their supply chain. So that means they would have to spend $300 billion in the next 10 years to move over 100% of their supply chain. So that's how rooted they are in China right now. I mean, this is why I've said it takes time. You can't just say, okay, we're going to slap on these tariffs and expect someone like Apple to just like move their manufacturing over to the US overnight. It's just not going to happen. Apple produces phones for half of the planet. Half of the planet uses iPhones. So it's going to be very, very, very difficult. So Tim Cook has to figure it out. He recently flew like 600 tons of iPhone out of India to avoid the tariffs. So I don't know what's going to happen after those iPhones run out, get sold. Are they going to hike up the price right away? They go try to eat it? I don't know. But that's just one example. There are many, 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 many companies that rely on manufacturing in China, and now it's going to cost them 145% more. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see what happens. And this is all kind of like all comes, at a bad time, because the inflation numbers in the US measuring last month in March all showed that inflation was actually coming down. So today we actually had an inflation reading for wholesale prices that showed unexpectedly fell more in March than expected. Just like when we had a CPI reading earlier this week that showed we fell more than expected in March. See, if we didn't have all this going on and we just had these inflation readings, would have been fantastic. Going back into low 2%, showing inflation going down, this was all we needed, really, for Powell, for Fed Chair Powell, to cut our Fed fund rate, right? This is what he wanted to see exactly. Inflation come down. And unfortunately, because of all the tariff stuff, it's being overshadowed, right? These things are being overshadowed. Oh, look at this. New headline news. Larry Fink says U.S. is very close to recession and may be in one now already. That is no good. And yes, so the percentage of a cut for next month, it's wildly swinging every single day I'm looking at it, but it's still like under 30%. So most likely next month, we're not going to get a cut unless the markets continue to fall and fall and fall for another month. Then maybe that will increase. But right now, a lot of uncertainty, but Bitcoin is still unphased and holding strong, so that's good. But yeah, there's just so much uncertainty. And what makes this even worse right now is this. A lot of us don't care about this, okay? A lot of us don't even really know why this is really all that important. But this is the reason why Trump paused his plans on tariffing the entire world other than China. Because the 10-year yield, the 30-year yield, the 2-year yield, all the bond yield rates have started skyrocketing, and they continue to skyrocket. And this is not a good thing. Since the 4th till now, we have gone up a 0.5%, more than 0.5% within a week. that is not a good thing. And that is still going up. This is the reason why he has paused everything. And this is showing that countries are dumping US treasuries. This is showing that countries are losing faith in the United States. And that is not good when it comes time for us to issue more bonds. When we need to borrow money and we need to issue more bonds, first of all, there will be less buyers, less people that are willing to let us borrow money. And those that are willing to let us borrow money are expecting higher interest, which means the US will be paying more money, which means this is counterintuitive to Trump's plans of cutting our deficit and decreasing spending and all that, right? So this going up is a very, very bad thing, especially this much, this fast. And this is the exact reason why everything is being paused right now and brought down to that 10% baseline. Even then, it's like, you know, it's just kind of still discouraged, I guess, by a lot of countries. Yeah. But you know what? With all that said, the S&P 500 is now as volatile as Bitcoin. So those of us in crypto, right, we're used to volatility. We've seen the wild swings up and down, up and down, and up and down. But now, it's not so volatile because the US market is just as volatile. Wall Street is getting a taste of what we're used to because now they're seeing some crazy wild swings daily because of all the things that are happening. But yeah, but you know what? Something that we're used to. And, for us, those of us that understand we're in it, we can withstand the volatility because we choose to, first of all, and because we know we will get through this. Despite all this stuff, all the scary stuff, we will get through it. We'll come back stronger, and nothing outperforms Bitcoin. That's why we stand the volatility. Because volatility goes both ways. It goes down, also goes up, right? So the most volatile could be a good thing, especially in a bull market, especially during recoveries, because we will rise up and recover much quicker than anything else, right? And plus, those of us that understand, Bitcoin is the best asset to hold by far. And it was really created because of all these things, because of distrust in governments, distrust in banks, distrust in just authority in general, right? Distrust in people that have authority and greed from them. So you could argue what's going on right now. Could be one of those times, right? This is why a lot of people are turning to Bitcoin. A lot of people are starting to recognize that. Even companies and corporations and institutions, states, countries, they're starting to learn and starting to adopt Bitcoin because of it. This headline from Grayscale says, Trump's tariff chaos might be good for Bitcoin, right? Yes, because a lot of people are starting to get sick of what's going on. They want to opt out of what's going on, what they're hearing. They're just sick of governments fighting, or sick of tariffs, or sick of inflation, or sick of, I don't know, something else like deficits or irresponsible spending, which will never go away. in any country, it will always be a problem. Again, that's why if you want something better and you understand that there is something better in Bitcoin, then you go to Bitcoin, right? So there are more people that are learning. Florida, they're turning pro Bitcoin. So now they can invest in Bitcoin. So this is pretty big. And basically every state eventually will be able to invest in Bitcoin and put Bitcoin in their reserve. We have like 30 plus states that are doing so, but certain states are more bullish than others. So that's good. Again, people are starting to understand. And more, look at this. The first UK school to accept Bitcoin for payments and build Bitcoin reserve. That's awesome, right? Again, slow adoption at first, now starting to build up. More and more people are starting to come in. That's what we want to see. That's what we want to see. All right. Let's see. What else is there? Outside news, the ETF inflows still a little red. Yesterday's outflow is there's no inflow, by the way. It's still outflow for last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Last 6 days outflow. But you think about it, it's pretty amazing. We had 6 days of ETF outflows, hundreds of millions. If you add it all together, that's about $1 billion right there. Coming out of the ETFs, being sold from the ETFs, yet Bitcoin is still staying strong and hovering at $83,000. Right? How can that be? You have $1 billion worth of Bitcoin being sold by Wall Street, panicked traders selling off $1 billion over the last week. Yet Bitcoin not only held, but climbed up during this last week. It's because the long-term holders are accumulating, okay? And the whales are accumulating, and the sailors of the world are accumulating. Again, those that understand are loading up. That's the only way this makes sense. If you're selling, there's someone on the other side buying, right? And maybe a lot of these transactions are happening in the OTC market, and we don't know these big whales that are buying hundreds of millions behind the scenes. But someone's eating it up. Otherwise, the price wouldn't be where it is now. $1 billion sold off from the ETFs, yet Bitcoin went up this last week. Think about how amazing that is. It really is amazing. It really is amazing. Yeah, and then, if you look at a chart like this, basically, it's showing that we have seen this before, okay? We have seen periods like this before. We have a lot of metrics that show Bitcoin has gone down for one thing or another, okay? Macro conditions, technical conditions, crypto winter, consolidation periods, whatever. But then we tend to come back. Always. And we get stronger. And we continue forward. Every single time. Right? And I made this argument before. If you think it's bad now, just go back and look at the last time we were in recession in 2020. Check out Bitcoin's price then. Check out even ETH's price then. People are very depressed about ETH right now. Check out ETH's price in March of 2020. And then tell me if you should be depressed now. ETH was like $90 in 2020. So, in case you're too lazy to look that up. Yeah. So just think about that. All right. Outside of Bitcoin, we do have some good crypto news. Okay. Of course, Bitcoin is the big daddy. It's the best asset to hold. But we got some other good stuff. We got a lot of ETF stuff. ETF news. SUI looks like they're going to get an ETF soon. I mean, yesterday I announced Avalanche. You know, there's a Avalanche filing. Now we have a SUI filing. And of course, we still have XRP filing. We have a Solana filing, a Cardano filing, a Dogecoin filing, and I don't know what else there is. A Cardano filing. I don't know. There might be a Hedera filing. So we got all these. I got all these guys getting a spot ETF soon. And right now, it may not mean much because, you know, we're going through this scary time. But when the market comes back, when the bull market comes back, and we get hundreds of billions of dollars coming back into the market, these ETFs will make a difference. You're going to get tens of billions of dollars into each one of these ETFs, into each one of these projects. It will make a difference. It will. Right now, if they get approved, it may not mean a lot. But when the bull market comes back, I think those that get their own ETFs will be clear winners. So it'd be pretty good. But besides ETFs, okay, besides Wall Street, you know, obviously I talked a lot about SUI before. Interesting enough, in terms of stablecoin inflows, they're getting a lot of it somehow, right? Could be DeFi activity, could be their meme activity, NFT activity, who knows? But SUI is very active right now. And I know that last week, Miston Labs, the company behind SUI, you know, I've been pronouncing SUI wrong. I actually still don't know how to pronounce it right. SUI. I'm just going to continue to say SUI. But they came out with their decentralized protocol chain, decentralized storage protocol chain called Walrus. So this actually came out last week and debuted. Kind of got overshadowed by everything else with the tariffs and stuff like that. But it's their brand new project, all about programmable storage. And that's kind of cool. So they're moving forward. They got a lot of stuff going on, right? Again, it's unfortunate a lot of these projects are overshadowed by all the tariff stuff, right? Everyone's just looking at all the tariffs and all the retaliation and the trade wars and all that stuff. But a lot of these projects are still building and building and building and building. Avalanche, I just mentioned, getting their ETF. Standard Chartered is saying AVAX will rise tenfold by 2029. A lot of people don't care about that headline because 2029 is in 4 years. But who wouldn't want to make a 10x in 4 years? I know I would. But, you know, too many degens in the space. They want to make a 10x this year. Right? Screw 4 years. I want to make a 10x by the end of this year. Hey, that could still happen with AVAX. A lot of things will come back very fast. Grayscale also now has an AVAX trust. That could be good. So, and AVAX also, just like SUI, has a lot going on within the chain, a lot of activity. I know they're very active, very, very active as well. Let's see. What else is there? I talked about this earlier in the week. World Limited Financial. They deny selling their Ethereum at a loss. They claim that Arkham wallet that was being tracked is a Coinbase Prime wallet and it's not theirs. Although there's still some question marks around that, whether that's true. So Arkham can't be 100% sure. So they're kind of loosely labeling that wallet as World Liberty Financial. So we don't know. But earlier this week, it was reported that World Liberty Financial sold off $8 million worth of ETH at a massive, like 60% loss. Don't know why they would do that. They just raised like, I don't know, like $50 million or something, or $100 million. No idea why they would need to do that. So maybe it's true. Maybe it's true. Maybe Arkham just got the wallet address wrong. Who knows? Here's another one. SEC dismisses case against Helium. I didn't even know there was a case against Helium. So that's awesome. Again, I've been talking about how the SEC is changing and they've been dismissing every single case left and right. They're starting over. Paul Atkins just became the new commissioner. So this is good. Now, every single project that was deemed a security, they get a fair chance now. If they truly are a security, well, they get a chance to work with SEC now and actually get to fix things and actually get to know what they did wrong. Before, these projects just get served the Wells notice and that's it. They have no idea what they did wrong or how they could correct their wrongness, and they just get into multi-year lawsuits with SEC. Now they're starting over, which is good, which is very good. All right, that's pretty much it. Lastly, I gotta talk about the Bitcoin conference that's coming up in Las Vegas. Gotta shield this a little bit. Prices are going up. If you go. I know it seems like, yeah, it's too expensive. Everyone's depressed. Everyone's too poor to go. But every time you see tens of thousands of people there. So there are a lot of people that always attend and always want to see what's there. So if you want to go, make sure you grab a ticket and make sure you use my link to grab a ticket. All right. That's pretty much it. Today, Bitcoin is doing very well, guys. Bitcoin is up over $3,000 today. And many others, like Sol today, is up 7%. Sol is back up to 120. Yesterday, it was at like 110. Now it's at 120. Today, crypto is doing very well, despite Larry Fink saying we're in a recession. All right, let's do some Q&A. John Alley. I've looked at XCM before. It was pumping when XRP was pumping back in the day. And then it lost all momentum. And then now, I guess apparently, according to you, it's pumping again. There's really no rhyme or reason for it. I did some research into it before. I forgot. It was in the payment sector. It's similar to what XRP was doing. Not payment sector. It was in I remember it was helping facilitate payments or transactions between financial institutions. So it's very similar to what XRP or Ripple was doing, but there was little differences. Well, it's been a while since I looked it up, but it was doing very well when XRP was pumping back in the day too. Yeah, I wouldn't trust that chart. There's nothing against it, but for something to go up this fast and go down this fast and then come up this fast, that's not normal. That's not normal movement. Oh, I didn't show this. I skipped over this one. I totally forgot. In the last bull market in May of 2021, Bitcoin was at 64,000. China banned Bitcoin mining, kicked out all the miners. A lot of the miners had to sell off all their Bitcoin. And plus FTX were around that time, so SBF was probably doing some shenanigans, shorting the market. Bitcoin went down like 50%. This was during a bull market. Went down from 64,000 down to 28,000 before it shot back up to 69,000. That was crazy. That was a crazy time. Everyone thought the bull market was over and we were going to straight down to like back down to 10,000 or something. So we have seen some crazy times before. Space vibe. I think that also came out, the ESG movement. I think that also came out around that time too. I think you're right about that. Love Bug, George, are you DCAing or waiting? If so, SOL or BTC? I have not been waiting. Whatever extra dry powder I have every week, I just been putting it in. But mostly in Bitcoin. Because SOL recently has been very volatile, up and down, up and down, up and down. I've just been stacking sats right now. Summit, stop spamming the live chat. I talked about Walrus. It seems great. Mistim Labs came out with it, a new decentralized storage protocol. Lazaro. No, it has not been. And Summit. What does that mean? You're all in. Fernando, will RWA revive Ethereum and bring it back to all-time high? No. No and yes. Will Ethereum get back to its previous high? Yes. Will RWA do that for Ethereum? No. RWA probably exists more on other chains than Ethereum. Yeah, but will Ethereum get back to its previous high of like 5,000? At some point, yes. MicroStrategy is doing good today. Coinbase, man, I still don't get people that are. How can anyone be buying Apple right now? I just don't get it. Like, I don't know why people aren't like shorting the hell out of Apple right now. That's the one conundrum. Like, I just 145% tariff out of China. All Apple products, 90% products are out of China. The vast majority of Apple products are being sold in the US. Why is Wall Street not recognizing this? There's something there. Why do you think DXY getting below $1 for first time in 2 years? I don't know. DXY could be going down. DXY going down is a good thing. We want DXY to go down. Normally DXY goes down when well, I mean, commodities usually go up when DXYs go down, like for example Bitcoin. So we want that. DXY goes down when the strength of the dollar goes down. Usually investments go up, stock market goes up because people are pulling out of the dollar and buying things with it. But right now, the DXY is going down possibly because people are not happy about the US. So they could be trading their dollars for other currencies. So right now, it may be going down for the wrong reasons. Fire down below. Should I pick XRP, Sol, or Cardano? Out of the three, I don't know. Probably the most stable out of the three right now is XRP. The most upside, probably Sol. So either XRP or Sol. Roar, thanks for the daily updates. You're welcome. Have you seen the whole Black Ops 2 predicting the China trade war tariff with the US in 2025 when it was made 14 years ago? No. But I guess, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. A lot of these predictions are educated guesses, just like a lot of the Simpsons predictions. Although those are like really wild predictions that have come true. A lot of them are based on things that you could kind of guess, right? So it was not surprising that was going to happen, but maybe not to this extent, or not this fast, or I don't know, or how it came about. Nick says one advantage China has it isn't subject to U.S. political cycles. That is true. It's the same as Russia, right? Like Putin and Xi, they can, they can come up with like a 10-year plan or a 20-year plan. Especially China, they're in a position, they have changed so much over the last 10 years. They could go and formulate like a goal or a plan and execute without worrying about parties and stuff like that. Although there's still changes within, and sometimes heads still do roll. So it's not like it's a cakewalk for C. But keep in mind, these guys are also, they're not young bucks. It's not like they're 30s and they can like stay in power for another 50 years. But you're right about that. Tesla's down today. Someone said Justin Sun owns 68% XCN. That might explain why it's so volatile. If that's true. I don't know if that's true. Summit, I don't know if you're new. I don't think so because I've seen you before. But I've been in crypto since 2013. And I've been streaming since 2017. So what do you think? Have you seen that new Scout? No. What is the new Scout? That is false. Justin Sun had to buy 1 billion on. Oh yeah, I remember. There was a big dispute between XCN and Justin Sun. Justin was trying to cause some FUD around XCN. I remember that. I did some research on that. He's actually not a fan of it. Yeah. Yeah, I remember that. Have you driven a Tesla Model 3 Performance? Test drove one last week. Placed the order. Is crazy quick. I have not driven the new one yet. The new Model 3s. What do they call it? The Highlands. They look great. I'm sure they're much better than old ones. I have not driven the new Model Ys yet either, but yeah, Teslas are quick. They are quick for sure. So congrats. Clifton, do you think the markets will go back to its lows after a 90-day pause is over? It depends on what happens after 90 days. If Trump changes his stance, um, I think a lot of what's going on with the tariffs is not just Trump himself. I think Besant. I think a lot of this was his plan because he made a whole bunch of money devaluing the yen before for Soros. Um, so some of this may have his plan to like because he thinks this will devalue the yuan so much it's gonna cause China to cave, and it very well may, but everything got put on hold because of this. I think none of them anticipated that like Japan would be dumping bonds. The whole thing is this is what I always argue, and I was arguing this greatly with my friend. It seems like this whole thing was really about just like getting even with China. And if that was really the intent, then the trade war or the tariffs should have just been aimed at China, right? There was no need to, or okay, maybe just China and then Canada and Mexico, okay? But there was no need to do this tariff thing with the whole world and like piss off everyone at the same time. See, that's what happened. See, because they put tariffs on Japan, and then Japan got mad, and then Japan started selling bonds, and that's what caused this to go up. China themselves selling bonds could not have caused this to go up this much. It was everyone's pointing out to the fact that it was Japan selling that caused this to happen. So had they not put tariffs on Japan goods, then maybe this would not have happened. And maybe other countries would not have sold off their treasuries too. See, I think that was like a crucial error there. Andrew Davis, he just realized he couldn't fight everyone in China at the same time. Yeah. Or maybe fight China first, get that done, and then fight everyone else at later. Right? You can't fight two wars at the same time or two fronts. This is actually why yeah, I'm not gonna say what I'm gonna say because I think there's a lot of people are gonna get pissed off. But this is why no, I'm not gonna say it. This is why one country lost in the last World War because they decided to attack both fronts at the same time rather than concentrate on one front. Had they just concentrated on one front at a time, they would have won that war. I'll just leave it at that. Winners write history. Well, that's true. That is true. But that's, that's like only in the, that's before like, um, that was before when information wasn't readily available, right? When scripts and books and stuff like that could be like erased or burned or whatever. Now you can't. Well, maybe now you could do it with fake news and propaganda and social media. Maybe it's even worse now. I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, once you get a clip out there, it's really hard to get that removed. How about the XRP clip? You mean the most educational video ever created? I can't. I gotta keep it under lock and key. I can't play it too much. People get too excited, too riled up when I play it. Oh, by the way, it's totally random. I saw the Minecraft movie with my kids last week. Worth seeing. It's actually pretty good. Way better than I expected it to be. I'm not a Jack Black fan. Never been. But he's growing on me. He made that movie. He was awesome in that movie. I can't see anyone else doing that role. So, just FYI, it was a good movie. GameStop buying 1.3 billion Bitcoin tomorrow. Why not today? Why tomorrow? I don't know anything about Minecraft. It's still watch. Yes. I don't know anything about Minecraft either. I don't know any of the characters inside or how things work. You'll still enjoy the movie. But it's mostly for kids. I mean, obviously, if you're an adult with no kids and you're just going to see it, it's a little weird, but I think you'll still enjoy it. It's like a lot of corny jokes, a lot of like dad jokes in there. But I still think it's enjoyable. Yeah, you're right. Kevin Hart could have probably played that role, but it would be a different vibe. Totally different vibe. All right, guys. I think that's it. Well, despite everything today, not so bad for Bitcoin. Still up, holding the low 80s. A lot of good things happening. A lot of good things happening in crypto all around. This escalation with China is not looking good. Doesn't seem like we're going to go back down anytime soon. Although we did back down from the global tariff. And that's because of this 10-year that continues to go up. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm not smart enough to know what to do if this continues to go up. That's for the Cent to figure out. Because if this continues to go up, let's say it goes up past 5%, I don't know what they're going to do. That would be very bad. I don't think we've been above 5% in a long time. Oof. We were almost there in 2023. We haven't been above 5% since 2001. No, 2006, 7. So yeah, I don't know what's going to happen there, but that's not good. All right, have a good weekend, guys. I will. I don't know. These days, there's just not a whole lot of crypto stuff to talk about. So either I'll do a crypto cruise tomorrow, or I'll just do a Sunday walk, one of the two. Unless there's crazy things, then I'll do both. But yeah. Have a good weekend. Stay strong. Continue to hodl and DCA. And before you go, enjoy this on your way out.
What do you think about Ripple?
Well, I mean, I think it's too centralized, but I definitely want to meet Chris Larson.